The telephone is a gateway to uncertainty. The disembodied voice of a stranger can reach into the home and deliver any message. Anyone can call from anywhere. The anonymity of this device brought with it a danger that was very real. This has led to countless mysteries over the years. A catalog of recordings from landlines, their audio captured on aged cassette tapes, mangled and distorted. These calls intrigue because they hearken to a time when we were less connected, when it was harder to know fact from fiction. One of these calls has received surprisingly little attention in the last 30 years. Despite almost 15 minutes of taped recordings, the message and purpose of these communications remain unclear. However, they are some of the most uncanny and unnerving calls from this time, and they have led to a conspiracy far deeper than could ever have been imagined. These are the disturbing calls of Gary Sudbrink. In 1993, Gary Sudbrink was an Air Force captain who was assigned to work in a medical pharmacy in San Antonio, Texas. One weekend, he decided to surprise his family with an unannounced visit, so he purchased a ticket to fly back to Long Island. Arriving at the airport early, he was accosted by a man with a clipboard. The man asked Sudbrink for his name, his final destination, and other personal questions. Sudbrink estimated the man was a surveyor or a salesman and disregarded these questions. However, when he boarded his flight, another man began to accost him. This second man sat nearby and asked similar personal questions until the flight attendant requested to see his ticket. When it didn't match his seat, he was promptly relocated. However, Sudbrink was unsettled. When he arrived at his parents' home in Long Island, he placed a call to a longtime friend, Mike, who was in the area. However, Mike was confused by this call. He said he had spoken to Sudbrink the day before. Whoever Mike had spoken to was not Gary Sudbrink. Even more unsettling was the call that began to ring on the other line. Sudbrink answered at 10:30 p.m. on Monday, February 8th, 1993. The following is a recording of that call.
Yes. I'll tell you who it is.
Hello?
Yeah. Do you want to speak to him?
There's Gary Sudbrink in there.
Yeah, who's this? Steven? Are you playing games with me or what? Huh? Steven, if you're playing games, I'm going to kick your ass.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
Huh?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Yeah, this is you, Steven, you idiot. You're pissing me off. Jerk. I'm going to get you on... Let's see what it says. Review. One new call out of area. Is Steven out of the area?
How long are you going to be back from Texas?
Wait, say that again?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Wait, hold on. Is Steven out of the calling area or what?
What do I know?
What do you mean you don't know? He's in Queens.
Well, who are you talking to?
I don't know who the fuck.
Hello?
Hello?
There's Gary Sudbrink in there.
Who is this? Sounds like a freaking robot.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
What was that again, sir?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Oh, be quiet, huh? Sorry, would you see that again? Hello? Being impersonated by what voice?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
There's Gary Sudbrink in there.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, what is your question? I'll answer it.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Right. When am I coming back? Is that your question? Okay, there was a break. Hold on. You want to know when I'm coming back to Texas? Oh, is that your question?
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long am I going to be back from Texas? That question doesn't make any sense.
By the other voice.
Okay. I'll be coming back eventually. I can't tell you when. You should know that question, the answer to the questions, because you seem to know more about me than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Are you an intergalactic person?
Are you a space alien?
Sounds like he hung up.
I can't believe this.
He hung up, Gary.
See if he comes back.
All right, I'll hang up. Oh my God! I'm pulling my back.
This voice spoke in circular and cryptic messages, its meaning unclear. However, it knew more than it should. For example, the unknown caller knew the phone number for Sudbrink's parents, and knew he would be visiting, despite the fact that he did not announce his trip to anyone. Additionally, the caller knows Sudbrink is temporarily stationed in Texas and headed back soon. It is notable that the caller does not respond or interact to questioning from the Sudbrinks. Instead, the voice simply repeats the same phrases. While this will be explored in greater detail later, these features and the slowed playback rate suggest the caller had pre-recorded phrases on a cassette tape. The second call occurred less than an hour later. It was 11:10 p.m. when Sudbrink answered the phone and began recording.
Yes, speaking. Yes. Can I answer any questions for you?
Are you back from Texas?
Not back yet, no.
How long are you going to be back from Texas?
Let me answer. First, you tell me, where are you calling from?
This is Gary Sudbrink.
Yeah, why don't you tell me where you're calling from?
Who is this?
What do you mean, who is this? You should know who it is. It's me, Gary. Wait, let me ask you this question. Where are you calling from? Okay, I'll be back. Excuse me? I can't hear too well. Yeah, it is a full moon out. That's true. Could you identify yourself? Identify yourself. Why are you calling me? Excuse me? I cannot hear too well.
Get on the other phone, it's better.
Hold on, let me switch phones. Okay. Okay, hold on. Now, who are you?
Keep an eye in the sky, he said. eye in the sky?
Yeah.
Ask him, Kenny, I talked to him. I had a sighting.
Okay, hold on. Say that. Repeat that again. Please repeat. Okay.
Near Orion.
Near Orion.
Holy mackerel. Tonight or just on when?
The full moon.
They told
So, double from here.
Repeat.
Tell him I like to talk to him.
Okay. Repeat last word. I'm hearing static.
Tell him I like to talk to him.
He hung up.
He hung up.
Hello?
The duration of the second call was roughly the same as the first, and it shared many of the same characteristics. Similar to the first call, the voice repeated several phrases and did not respond to questioning. However, there does seem to be some interaction. For example, Bill Sudbrink asked if the caller was an extraterrestrial in the first call, and in the second call, the voice included references to Orion, the full moon, and instructions to keep an eye on the skies. It's worth noting that the lunar calendar for February 1993 indicates that a full moon occurred just 2 days prior to the first call. Just 8 minutes later, the phone began to ring again.
Okay. Yeah, it's taking time for him to talk. Who is this? Stephen, this is not funny, you know.
Brian, it's not Steven.
What do you mean, Brian?
I mean, Gary.
How do I know it's not Stephen?
It's not Steven. Hello? I had a UFO experience in West Virginia, which you probably know. And I know that you're into an intergalactic person. Can you speak a little louder? Sir? Can you speak a little louder? Louder?
Let me speak to him, Dad. I guess, I don't know. What...
All right, I'll hang up so you can talk to me. He wants to talk to you.
Okay. Hello, can I help you?
Hello.
Yes.
You're Gary Sudbrink.
Yes, that's me.
You're this Gary Sudbrink.
Yes, could you please identify yourself? Identify.
Oh, you're back from Texas.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm in Texas right now. Oh, he asked me a question. No, I'm in New York right now. You know that. Why are you asking me such a question? Yes. Stephen, if this is you, I swear to God, I'm going to be pissed. Huh? I'm trying to listen to him. Excuse me? Okay. Eventually I'll be back from Texas. Could you speak more? Please speak more. I guess it's not Stephen. I believe it because I'm getting static.
People were not raised 3 times.
Let me go on this phone because I can never hear on this phone. Hold on. Okay. Okay, please speak. Hello?
Keep an eye on the sky.
Okay. Should I go out right now?
Right.
Right now?
The full moon.
Okay, see, I'm not sure where Orion is now, but we'll go outside.
Show double from you.
It would show double from me. Repeat that again?
Similar to the other two calls, this call was roughly 3.5 minutes long. However, this call was almost entirely composed of repeated phrases from calls 1 and 2. Call 3 occurred 8 minutes after call 2, which could explain why the contents were mostly repeated phrases. This short window of time would not have allowed the caller to record any additional phrases. The next call would not occur until a day later, and it would be the strangest yet. On Tuesday, February 9th at 10:21 p.m., the mysterious caller would phone the Sudbrinks one final time.
Yes, this is me. Can I speak to you? Can I ask why you're... Yes, can I ask why you're calling? Can I please ask... Yes, this is. Yes, that is me. Say that again?
This planet.
Leave?
We come
I'm staying right here.
to be within this planet.
Is this a joke or what?
The many to be contacted as the same with you.
I have to think about that. I'd like to see you.
The many to be contacted as the same with you.
Hey, let me tell you something. I've been listening to you, and I've had contacts with you.
Government
Government interference.
interference? You have? Please explain what type of interference. Okay.
Government interference. Visitations to be disrupted by them. Appears. Sun will rise from dark side of world. No.
The sun will rise from the dark side of the moon.
Okay, what branch of the government? What should I do?
Beware. Government interference. Visitations to be disrupted by them.
Okay. Is that good for me or bad? They hung up.
Do you get it back?
Yeah.
The majority of the phrases from this call are novel, with only a few repeats. The caller continues to fixate on extraterrestrial themes. However, this time Bill and Tom Sudbrink are in the home, and they take turns questioning the voice for additional information. They allude to a previous close encounter, the uncle stating that he had experienced contact before. In this call, the voice repeats the phrase, "The sun will rise on the dark side of the moon." The far side of the moon is typically the dark side. However, during the new moon phase, the sun shines on this far side. Could the voice be alluding to the new moon phase, which would occur on February 21st, less than 2 weeks away? Were these calls an authentic contact with some unexplainable source, or were they simply a hoax perpetrated by the Sudbrinks or someone close to them? Many of the theories that attempt to explain these calls only end up raising more questions. The repeated phrases and slow playback rate distortion suggest that these calls were pre-recorded on a cassette tape and played at a slower speed. One theory is that Sudbrink himself recorded these cryptic messages and played them on another line. To investigate this claim, the following audio of call 1 has been manipulated to increase the playback speed, attempting to approximate the unaltered voice of the mystery caller. This audio has been spliced back into call 1. Sudbrink's responses can be heard alongside the callers for a side-by-side comparison.
Yes. I'll tell you who it is.
Hello?
Yeah. Do you want to speak to him?
Is Gary Sudbrink there?
Yeah, who's this? Steven? Are you playing games with me or what? Huh? Steven, if you're playing games, I'm going to kick your ass.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
Huh?
You were being impersonated by the other voice.
Yeah, this is you, Steven, you idiot. You're pissing me off. Is Steven out of the area?
Are you going to be back from Texas?
Wait, say it again?
You were being impersonated by the other voice.
Wait, hold on.
The voices sound dissimilar. However, for further verification, the word Texas was isolated from the voice and Sudbrink, and this word was developed into a spectrograph. It's a visual representation of the spectrum of frequencies within the sound. Lastly, both of these readings were plugged into a comparison tool to compute the normalized cross-correlation of both audio files. The program determined these two words shared a 30% similarity and are likely not a match. In the first and third calls, Sudbrink asks if the voice is Steven, his younger brother. There were 3 boys in the Sudbrink family, Steven the oldest, Gary the middle, and Brian the youngest. None of the Sudbrink brothers were known to be pranksters. Steven Sudbrink later reported an unexplainable event that seemed to match the high strangeness of the 93 calls. Several years prior, Steven was driving to a wedding on Long Island. He reported seeing Gary driving alongside him on the road. Gary made several distorted, goofy, and strange faces at Steven, and when he had captured Steven's attention, he simply drove off. Gary was in the area at the time, but he didn't have a vehicle and wasn't driving to the wedding. Why did Mike and Steven Sudbrink, years apart, interact with a doppelganger? Someone who looked and sounded exactly like Gary Sudbrink, only wasn't him at all. Gary's father and uncle, Bill and Tom Sudbrink, claimed to have had previous encounters in the past. In fact, this is not their first recording of something unexplainable. On May 28, 1989, the two brothers were returning from a vacation in West Virginia when they spotted an unidentified flying object. They encountered this object spontaneously throughout their drive, and it was remarkable enough for the men to pull to the side of the road, unpack their video camera, and attempt to record the object. Bill Sudbrink filmed the sky, hoping the object would appear a third time, and he was not disappointed. A bright light aberration appeared in the sky, and Sudbrink filmed this object for 4 seconds before it vanished. A MUFON investigator and optical physicist, Dr. Bruce Maccabee, reviewed the footage and published his findings in the May 1990 issue of the MUFON UFO Journal. He claimed that due to the poor resolution of the camera and the size of the aberration, he could not determine if it was the result of an artifact in the film or a genuine sighting. The brothers joined the Long Island UFO Network, and they participated in the investigation of the 1992 South Haven Park UFO crash. A press release from August 1998 outlined the following events. On November 24, 1992, a man was driving east on Sunrise Highway and reported seeing a craft that he described as, quote, tubular in shape with 2 large bright blue lights on each end, with a bright white light in its center, whose structure was composed of a dull, metallic gray texture. The object made a tight turn, crossed the highway, and crashed into the woods of South Haven Park on Long Island. On impact, a white beam erupted that was bright enough to turn night into day. Tom and Bill Sudbrink were part of the investigative team who visited the site over the following weeks. They obtained VHS footage from an anonymous source, and this footage was later enhanced by Preston Nichols, the progenitor of the Montauk Project conspiracy. The aftermath of this crash and investigation is long enough for its own video. However, Steve Iavarone, who was vice president of the LIUFON at the time, claimed that he was being surveilled, that his house was being broken into, and his phone was being tapped. Shockingly, he claimed that computer-altered voices left menacing messages on his answering machine. Could these have come from the same caller who phoned Gary Sudbrink in 1993, just a year later? One last potential explanation is that these calls were truly from some inexplicable source. Some have suggested this call came from a man in black. This term was popularized by John Keel in 1967. During his investigation into hundreds of UFO cases over the years, he reported that nearly 50 involved witnesses who were later visited by officials who discouraged them from speaking further and secured any evidence of the encounter. The Men in Black were an organized form of intimidation and retaliation against witnesses, abductees, and investigators. There are several correlations between the Sudbrink calls and Men in Black visitations: slowed speech, robotic inflection, and looping remarks, the majority of which occurred over telephone. One of the most prominent cases occurred in 1976. Dr. Herbert Hopkins was a physician and hypnotist who regressed a claimed abductee and later received a visitation from someone claiming to be a UFO investigator. While Hopkins recounted his case notes, the investigator wiped at his mouth, smearing away what appeared to be lipstick. The man appeared pallid and sickly beneath the makeup. He later commanded that all evidence be destroyed, and Hopkins claimed that as the minutes wore on, the man became increasingly robotic. His speech began to slow, and the time between words began to increase, until the man announced his energy was low and left. One account of this incident involves Hopkins experiencing telephone technical malfunctions in the weeks that followed. When the telephone company finally came to the site, they determined his landline had been tampered with. In nearly all of the stories cataloged in Nick Redfern's book, mysterious callers contact investigators, abductees, or witnesses to extraterrestrial events and leave cryptic and robotic messages over the phone. Could it be that these calls were somehow related to the investigations of Bill and Tom Sudbrink? In 1993, Gary Sudbrink answered 4 phone calls that would follow him for the rest of his life. There are countless questions that remain unanswered, lost in the decades between these calls and now. When the voice spoke of impersonation and doubles, was it warning of the doppelganger that had interacted with Mike and Steven? Or were the messages about Orion and the moon a warning to Bill and Tom Sudbrink about their extraterrestrial experiences? These questions only lead to more questions. So we're left with nearly 15 minutes of recorded audio and a question about ourselves. What do we choose to believe?